Hello everyone, this is my final video. If you have been following along with my blog, you'll know that my goal for this project was to learn Unity and C Sharp, and to ultimately create Minecraft in Unity. Well, today I'm going to be going over my entire journey from beginning to end. Around a year ago, in June of 2024, I was discussing the idea of making Minecraft in Unity with my friend Liam. Back then, neither of us had any experience in C# or game design, so the idea fell apart quickly. However, that conversation planted a seed in my mind, a seed that I was determined to grow into a tree. Now, back to the present. Around a month ago in April, when this project was first announced, my brain instantly went back to this idea. I thought to myself, this is the perfect idea, and so I chose it. I found a course online that would teach me everything there is to know about Unity. I started the course instantly, and although the first project was a relatively easy obstacle dodge, the Unity editor was completely new and overwhelming. I mean, like, why are there so many buttons, and what do they do? And it took me at least twice the time to get through the game as it should have, and I even had to skip the final stage of making the game bigger. However, this first project let me familiarize myself with the environment, speeding up the development process greatly for future projects. Then I started the next game, a game where you had to control a rocket through obstacles. Yay. This game looked so complex compared to the last one, and I was very intimidated. So intimidated, in fact, that I decided to take a break for a week. By then, it was Saturday, and even though spring break was that week, I knew I couldn't get any work done then because I had to go to the Robotics World Championships. I finished the game on Monday. However, I still needed to record a video to put my blog and also write my entire blog. So I put my computer in my suitcase and vowed that I would work on the video over the week. However, I accidentally forgot to do it on Tuesday, then on Wednesday I had to watch a Minecraft movie, then on Thursday I just found that I had to go swimming with my friends, and on Friday, well, I just wanted a break. So that's how I found myself on Saturday at 1 a.m. sitting on the toilet so that I wouldn't disturb my roommate, desperately writing my blog and recording and editing my video before my flight home at 3 a.m. Definitely the most productive week of my life. Monday at school was also the first day that I ever fell asleep in class. I decided to take a 3-day break, since obviously I was tired, and definitely didn't stay up 2 hours past my bedtime every day watching YouTube. No, I would never do that. Anyhow, after my break, I decided I ought to start my third project. This third one was again another huge step forward. It was a third-person 3D ship shooter story type game. This game was supposed to take 6 hours to complete, but I at least tripled that time, and it was not very good. The timeline was the most annoying part in the game because it was so unintuitive, and Unity usually just make it better. And yeah, like why? Why is it 360 flipping on its way to its destination just for fun? And then when I tried to publish it onto the web, like the other two that I made, it told me that my render pipeline wasn't compatible. So when I tried to fix it, I somehow corrupted the entire thing, and it wouldn't run ever again. Very fun. My original plan was to learn from the course until May, and then to spend whatever time I had left to make Minecraft. But guess what? It was already the 28th, and I had only done 3 out of the 5 games in the course. I had to choose between doing the last project in the course, because it was most useful and was a first-person shooter, or to skip it and give myself more time to make Minecraft. Then, I had a very genius idea. I could just do the beginning of the last one and learn how they did AI navigation and first-person movement. The result of this was kind of useless. First of all, the AI navigation in Unity would require it to bake something into the surface of the objects so that the thing could find the walkable areas. Firstly, I'm pretty sure that if it were too big, it would just use so much memory that the game would crash. And secondly, in a dynamic game such as Minecraft, rebaking something every time something is changed is very infeasible, and it sounds like a recipe for disaster. I just said disaster. Yes, that was definitely purposeful. Now, finally, Minecraft. I started by making a game plan. I wanted my Minecraft to have two parts, a server and a client. The client would connect to the server, and the server would send it data. The server would have complete access over the player's data, such as its location, what it's doing, and how it ended up here. That way, the server could detect any cheating, such as from modified clients. That's how Minecraft cheating works. The client essentially says, hey, I know I look like I'm here, but I'm actually here, so I can actually hit this guy. Or, hey, I know I look like I'm supposed to fall, but I actually have lots of vertical velocity, so I can just keep on walking across. If the server have all of the player's data, they can prevent this from happening, since the server will know. Such as in the flight example, the server could say, hey, how did you get that vertical velocity? You were at 0 vertical velocity a second ago. You're a hacker. I'm gonna kick you off. Anyhow, this is one of the main reasons that I made my game this way, and also because Minecraft made it this way, and it seemed like a pretty good idea. I started off by displaying blocks, then realized that sides that weren't seen didn't have to be drawn, so I created my own custom cubes that I could control better. Then after that, I put images on them to have them look like grass. Then I made terrain generation using Perlin noise, which essentially gives you a height for an X and a Y value. All of this took around 10 hours, by the way. Setting up the server and client also took around 10 hours. Then, I tried making the player move. I didn't want to use the built-in character controller because genius stubborn Kevin was going to figure out how to make it from scratch. Yeah, I couldn't get it to work. 10 hours down the drain. Woohoo! After struggling for so long, it took me around 10 minutes to use the character controller to make it work. Thanks to my stubbornness, I had wasted all my time and couldn't add any other features. I will continue to work on this game for a week before transitioning to prepare my TED Talk, so hopefully I'll be smarter and take the faster route next time. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a brilliant day.